evaluate the dogs, and then a couple nights later go back in the house and reread the standard. And then sometimes it kind of bothered me personally that maybe I wasn't evaluating the hounds or choosing the hounds the way the book said. Maybe I was evaluating the hounds and choosing hounds the way my uncles told me to, the way my dad told me to, the way my good buddy at the club told me to. And I go back and read the book. I said, well, George, what can I do to ensure myself that I'm going to be considering all these things that the book tells me I should be considering? Because the book doesn't really spell out that one thing over the other. The book doesn't say that searching ability should be 10% of the contest and check ability should be 80% of the contest. The book doesn't say that at all. It just talks about all these things. So I try to put them in a proper perspective and make sure that when I'm looking at dogs, that I got something to go back onto myself and make sure that I'm going by the book as near as I can. I had to cut down these cardboard charts a little bit because of the flight and bringing everything here rather than sometimes when I drive. So I hope everybody can see it. If I take out a pack of dogs and they have a number assigned to them, in this case 12, 3, 7, 9, and 15, and they have colored collars on, and I got those colored collars already arranged so I know where I'm going. And I got a chart here I can fill out, and I know that what pack it is, the second pack or third pack, and I know the class, and I know the series that I'm talking about, the date, and I can put down the time. It's always nice to give a very professional way of judging so that you do keep track of the time that your packs run, because sooner or later somebody's going to tell you, that Pirman was judging those dogs and that third pack only ran for 3 minutes. And you better know in your own mind you got something written down just how long you did run that pack. I've heard it many times. I knew I ran that pack for 12, almost 15 minutes. But you got somebody you're running that pack for a short time. So it's nice to keep records of these things, of how you judge dogs and when you judged them and what they did, and something you can look back onto. If we're looking at these 12, 3, 7, 9, and 15, and they're cast, it shouldn't be that difficult for us to start evaluating their searching ability as soon as they're cast and take a look at them. Now, if we look at hound number 12 and we look at the first time and he was not following the book as far as searching, we could give it a 0, and possibly 3 it was searching, and 7 wasn't, and 9 was, and 15 was. We could evaluate that. We're not making a snap, quick decision, but we just evaluate it. And then we go back and we take another look at the dogs, because some dogs are going to be here, some are going to be over there. You're going to see some of them as judge, I'm going to see some of them. We're going to be on this path and that path. So maybe I'll take another look at the dogs a little while later. They're still searching, trying to find a rabbit. Maybe 12 is starting to search and try to find a rabbit, so I give it accordingly, and 7 still is not searching to find a rabbit. And what do we mean by searching? Eagerness to explore. These dogs should be exploring promising cover. Why would I give it a 0? Lack of desire to explore the promising cover. Lack of desire to be exploring. Following along, following right behind the handler. Look at 7 again, and still following along, not showing any. The book tells me if he does not show the ability to search, to find game, he's to be ordered up. So he could be ordered up after the third time you looked at him and still not out there searching, he could be ordered up. Many times when you run a pack, though, maybe you looked at him twice and he wasn't searching, but boom, up goes a rabbit, and they get in there and you start evaluating their performance. So maybe you could evaluate 7 somewhat on his ability to pursue and ability to solve checks, but then if you got a loss, then you're going to be asked to find another rabbit. So you better take another look at 7 any chance you get to see if he is searching for a rabbit. And the third time you look at him, possibly you can tell your other judge that 7 is still not searching. Out he goes, regardless of his ability to do other things. Anytime a dog gets 3 strikes or gets many faults in any one category, he must be ordered up. I know small pack people put in the book that they must be ordered up for lack of searching ability. Well, that's true. But they must also be ordered up for lack of ability to pursue a rabbit, and lack of ability to solve checks, and lack of ability to use proper voice, and lack of ability to adapt. And many reasons why a dog is going to get picked up. So we evaluate this searching ability and we put it down. Even though we may have a hound that has good searching ability, when he goes to pursue the game, on my evaluation form for hound number 9, I find out that he's not doing a good job of pursuing game. He's merely following the game. He's pottering, has lack of intent. So he's not pursuing the game. So I give him 0s accordingly. Or of course if he backtracks, backtracking and pursuing game. So I give him his score accordingly, and he could be eliminated as being a faulty hound for his inability to pursue game. He's got to control the rabbit, show determination to account for it. He wasn't doing that. Showing adaptness to turn with the trail. He wasn't doing that either. We start evaluating check ability, and some hounds here, maybe never solves a check. He searched and he could pursue at times, but did you ever see 12 solve a check? If we're judging together and we're following, and a lot of things happen in a hurry, and that's why I use X and O method, because I can't write all this stuff down. But if we're judging together, I tell you, did you ever see 12 solve a check? And say, no, you probably agree with me. He's just never done it. He just never done it. Or you can say, yeah, I've seen hound number 12, but he didn't do it first close. He was way out there. Immediately went way out there. So he does not have the good ability to solve the losses and solve the checks. We can go through the same procedure on proper use of voice. Whenever we see this, there's a hound here, and he's lying to us, he's barking off a lot, then we score him accordingly. And we just keep evaluating him. Certainly adaptability can be evaluated. We can always see that hound that it comes out of the shade onto the sunlight, onto the sand, just seems to adapt to those various conditions. And it just changes. And other hounds, they just seem to run at the same speed all the time, regardless of the conditions. So we score them accordingly. What we're looking for a hound that has ability in all 5 categories, has some ability. He's not going to be perfect in each one of those categories. He'll never be perfect in all those categories. You never find one that's perfect in all 5 categories. But you can find a hound that can search, that can pursue, that can solve a check, that don't solve them all, doesn't have to solve all the checks, doesn't always have to be front in pursuing, doesn't always have to be in front, proper use of voice, honest, and can adapt. So we're trying to look for that balance in our hound that can handle all 5 of those categories. What do we find as we go around the country watching trials and watching dogs around and watching judges work? We find that we got judges that like to put a little more emphasis here, search and pursue, than here, check work. And we got other judges around the country that I'll score them, I'll judge them when they solve a check. Judge them when they solve a check. So we got, what do we have across the country? We got people by human nature who specialize in certain categories. And you specialize in one and I specialize in one, and there ain't no getting out of it. Because that's the way we are. We want to make every effort not to. The reason I made up that chart, I want to make every effort to prevent myself from over-specializing in any one of those 5 categories. The fellow I purchased land that I now own, 40 acres, with a starting pen, told me, George, he says, you find the dogs that'll solve the check, and they'll win your field trial. take your hounds, the hounds come to a loss, carry this one here, put him down there and let him solve that check, and he'll win your field trial. And he's talking through many, many years of experience in judging dogs, and you know, he's trying to be honest about it, of his valuation of judges. And that's wrong. That's bad. But on the same token, if we have people across the country that, you know, come on over to our club, what do we got? Speed and drive. Speed and drive. That ain't what it's all about either. You gotta have that balance. You gotta have that balance. You gotta have the hound that can do it all 5 categories. And you get them like that, and they just seem to be able to place all over the country 70% of the time, 80% of the time. That's the type of hound that we're looking for. Not necessarily win all the trials, but, you know, place regularly all over the country. So, prevent specialization. Try to use a chart. People from my seminars are taking that chart and they've made little books out of it, made cards out of it. You can do various things with it. You don't even use it, but if you just take your book, when you take a judging assignment, you take your book, you write down your pack numbers. If you just make 4 or 5 columns in there on your book that you carry around in your pocket, you can put your checks in there, just so that you got something to remind yourself that you are hired to judge, and you are hired to judge all 5 categories. Evaluate the dogs in all 5 categories. Any questions on evaluating the dogs? Fast dog that seems to always get picked up because the person don't like fast dogs. We put this back out in the field, told the handlers to cast them. They struck game. We're going to start evaluating. As we make our evaluation and we eliminate faulty hounds, because the booklet tells us we're required to eliminate faulty hounds, and eliminate hounds that we're not going to use in the next series. So we're going to have to start eliminating some of these hounds. The hounds that we have left have better be doing a better job for us to come back to where we started. If as a judge, if you kind of look around where you're at when you start that rabbit, you concentrate on evaluating the dogs and you find yourself that you come right back, you made that circle, you come right back with the better dogs to come right back, then you've done a service for the breed. You've helped the breed. You've helped people maintain the breed as a hunting dog. If you find out after you eliminated some of your faulty dogs, the dogs that you got left cannot circle that rabbit, then you've done a disservice to the breed, and you've made a mistake. We all make mistakes. You gotta live with them. You find out that your dogs that you're replacing cannot do the job, then you're doing something wrong. You better go back and take another evaluation of yourself and how you evaluate your dogs. The dogs that come back must be able to circle a rabbit. If you can't circle a rabbit, then you no longer have the practical purpose. And the boy out there with his single shot 20 gauge is going to get a beagle that goes on the rabbit for a short distance and does not bring it back to him. If that happens, he goes find something else that will bring the rabbit back.